Close your eyes for a moment. I want you to visualize a graveyard. But this isn't a graveyard of people, it is a graveyard of time. It is the burying ground of who you used to be. Buried in that soil is the version of you from 5 years ago. The one who was weak, the one who trusted the wrong people, the one who was addicted or angry or lazy or dishonest, the one who made choices that still make you wince when you stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m. You have done the hard work to bury that version of yourself. You have piled the dirt on top. You have planted new seeds. You have rebuilt your character, brick by painful brick. You are finally breathing fresh air. But then, it happens. You are at a family dinner. You are out with old friends. You are in an argument with a partner, and suddenly, someone hands you a shovel. They say, "I remember when you used to." They say, "You haven't changed. You're just like you were back then." They say, "Who are you kidding? We know what you did." In a split second, they dig up the corpse you worked so hard to bury. They drag it into the sunlight and force you to look at its rotting face. They weaponize your history to assassinate your character in the present. What happens to your body in that moment? Your heart rate spikes. Your stomach drops. The fight or flight mechanism kicks in. You feel the heat rising in your neck. Most people, 99% of people, react in one of two ways. Reaction A. They explode. They defend themselves screaming. They attack the other person. Reaction B. They shrink. They absorb the shame. They apologize for sins they have already paid for. Both reactions are wrong. Both reactions hand the keys to your soul over to the attacker. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they had a third way. They viewed the past not as a shame, but as dead time. They understood that a man who defends his past is a slave to it, but a man who accepts his past is the master of his future. Today, we are not just going to give you tips. We are going to install a new operating system in your mind. I am going to give you 10 unbreakable Stoic responses to use when someone tries to use your past against you. These are not just clever comebacks. They are psychological disarming mechanisms based on 2,000-year-old wisdom. We will break down exactly what to say, how to say it, and the psychology of why it shuts the other person down instantly. If you are ready to bury the dead and live for the living, I need you to commit right now. Scroll down and comment, "I am not my past." Do it now. Let that be the first step in building your inner citadel. Let's begin. Before we get to the specific words, you must understand the architecture of the Stoic mind. You cannot use these phrases effectively if you are internally trembling with guilt. The Roman Stoic Seneca wrote extensively about the nature of time. He taught that time is divided into 3 parts: that which has been, that which is, and that which will be. Seneca argued that the past is sacred and irrevocable. He said, "The past belongs to death." This sounds grim, but it is actually the most liberating thought you can have. When someone attacks your past, they are attacking a ghost. They are yelling at a statue. If you get angry, you are making a mistake in logic. You are accepting the premise that the you of the past is the same person as the you of the present. The Stoics practiced a concept called prohairesis, the faculty of choice. Your prohairesis is your moral will, your ability to choose your reaction right now. The person you were 10 years ago had a different prohairesis. They had different knowledge, different trauma, different tools. When someone brings up your past, they are trying to merge the two. They want to collapse the timeline. Your job is to keep the timeline separated. You must view your past self not as you, but as an ancestor. You share their DNA, you share their memories, but you are not them. Once you truly internalize this, that you are the descendant of your former self, not the prisoner of it, their insults lose their sting. They are insulting your ancestor. You can look at that insult with curiosity, not defensiveness. With that shield in place, let us pick up the sword. Here are the 10 responses. Response number 1, the amor fati pivot. Imagine the scenario. Someone brings up a major failure, a bankruptcy, a divorce, or a public mistake to shame you. They want you to look down at your shoes. The trap here is that you try to minimize it. You say, well, it wasn't that bad, or I was just unlucky. This smells like weakness. Here is the Stoic response. You look them in the eye with zero shame and you say, yes, that happened, and I'm grateful for it. That mistake was the tuition I had to pay to become the person I am today. This is based on the Nietzschean and Stoic concept of amor fati, a love of one's fate. Not just accepting it, but loving it. When you say this, you are doing psychological jujitsu. The attacker expects you to treat the event as a loss. By reframing it as tuition, you turn the loss into an asset. You are effectively saying, you think you are holding my shame? No, you are holding my trophy. Bullies and manipulators thrive on shame. Shame is a fungus. It grows in the dark. When you shine the bright light of gratitude on your darkest moment, the fungus dies. They have no leverage because you have already claimed the wreckage as your own property. Tonight, write down your biggest regret. Next to it, write the words, tuition paid. Own it. Response number 2, the Epictetus agreement. Here is the scenario. Someone is gossiping about you, or they bring up a bad habit you used to have. They are trying to tarnish your reputation in front of others. The trap is to argue the details. You say, I didn't do it that many times, or you're exaggerating. Now you are debating the quantity of your sin, which means you've already lost the frame. Here is the Stoic response. You smile, perhaps even laugh a little and say, is that all you heard? If you really knew my past, you'd know I've done much worse than that. This comes directly from Epictetus. He said, if anyone tells you that such a person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, he does not know my other faults, else he would not have mentioned only these. This is the ultimate power move. It is called stealing the thunder. By agreeing and amplifying the accusation, you show that you have absolutely no ego attached to your image. An insult requires resistance to hurt. Imagine punching a wall, it hurts your hand. Now imagine punching a cloud, you go right through and lose your balance. By agreeing with them, you become the cloud. You show them that you know your own flaws better than they ever could. You are the authority on your own darkness, which makes their attempt to expose you look amateur and petty. Response number 3, the dead resident metaphor. The scenario: an old friend or family member keeps treating you like the teenager or young adult you used to be. They refuse to acknowledge your growth. The trap is that you plead with them. You say, I've changed. Why can't you see that? This puts you in a position of neediness. You are begging for their validation. Here is the Stoic response. You speak calmly with a tone of finality. You are knocking on the door of an empty house. The person you are looking for doesn't live here anymore. This is a metaphor for the Stoic principle of flux. Heraclitus said, no man steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and he is not the same man. You are asserting that your identity is not a static object, it is a process. This acts as a pattern interrupt. They expect a linear conversation about events. You give them a metaphorical statement about identity. It forces them to pause and process what you mean. It signals that you have detached from your old self so completely that you refer to it as a third person. It creates a boundary that says, if you want to interact with me, you must interact with the current occupant. Response number 4, the mirror of curiosity. The scenario: the attack is aggressive. It is malicious. They are trying to hurt you deeply, perhaps in a public setting. The trap. You get angry, you counterattack, you scream, "Well, look at your past." Now you are in a mud-slinging contest and everyone gets dirty. The Stoic response. You pause. You count to 3. You tilt your head slightly, looking at them with genuine curiosity, not anger. You say, "I am curious. Why is it so important for you to bring that up right now? What are you hoping to achieve?" Marcus Aurelius advised us to examine the ruling faculty of others, to look behind their words to their motivations. This response shifts the spotlight. The spotlight was on your past. With this question, you rotate the spotlight 180 degrees and shine it directly on their intentions. You have turned a statement into a question. When they insult you, they are in attack mode, driven by the limbic system. By asking a calm, analytical question, you force them to switch to logic mode, the prefrontal cortex, to formulate an answer. Usually they can't. They will stutter. They will say, "I was just saying," or "Can't you take a joke?" You have exposed their malice without ever raising your voice. You win by becoming the therapist, not the victim. Response number 5, the separation of control. The scenario. Someone is obsessed with your past. They won't let it go. No matter what you say, they hold a grudge or a judgment. The trap. You try to control their opinion. You obsess over making them understand. The Stoic response. You are free to keep that version of me alive in your mind, but I am not obligated to be him anymore. This is the dichotomy of control in action. Epictetus's opening line in the Enchiridion is, "Some things are in our control and others not. Other people's opinions, not in your control. Your own actions, in your control." This response verbalizes that separation. You are granting them permission to be wrong. You are saying, "You can keep the ghost. I will keep the life." A conflict requires two people pulling on a rope. This response is you dropping the rope. When you tell someone, "You are free to think that," you remove the friction. They want to fight. You are giving them freedom. There is nothing more frustrating to an aggressor than a victim who refuses to be controlled. Response number 6, the compassionate reversal. This is for the person who is projecting. They judge your past mistakes because they are insecure about their own life. They say things like, "You think you're better than us now?" The trap is feeling guilty for succeeding. You try to lower yourself to fit back in. Here is the Stoic response. Keep your voice soft, with genuine empathy. I know it can be uncomfortable to see people change. It forces us to look at the things we haven't changed in ourselves yet. I hope you find the same peace I have. This uses the Stoic concept of sympathia, but with a sharp edge. It is a high-status response. You are framing your growth not as an insult to them, but as a mirror they are afraid to look into. It names the elephant in the room. The subtext of their attack is, "Don't leave me behind." The subtext of your response is, "I am not coming back, but I wish you well." It is devastatingly polite. It establishes that you are now the leader in the dynamic. You are the one dispensing hope, while they are dispensing bitterness. Response number 7, the memento mori, silence. The scenario. A petty insult, a troll comment, a passive-aggressive remark at the office water cooler. The trap. You feel the need to fill the silence. You awkwardly laugh or explain. The Stoic response is silence. You look at them. You do not scowl. You do not smile. You just look. You count to 5 in your head. Then, you turn your body completely away and engage with someone else, or go back to work. Cato the Younger, the enemy of Julius Caesar, was known for this. When someone insulted him, he didn't even dignify it with a denial. Silence is the loudest sound in the universe. By staying silent, you are signaling, Your words are not significant enough to warrant an expenditure of my energy. Humans are social animals. We crave validation, even negative validation. Silence is a form of social exile. It makes the attacker feel invisible. They will often panic and start talking faster to fill the void, making them look even more foolish. Response number 8, the factual correction. The scenario. Someone brings up a past failure to argue that you aren't capable of doing something now. For example, you want to start a business? Remember how you crashed your car or lost that money? The trap. You say, "This is different." The Stoic response. You are remembering the event. I am remembering the lesson. That is why the result will be different this time. This separates the objective event from the subjective wisdom. The Stoics believed in using every impression as fuel. You are acknowledging the event, the objective reality, but claiming that your interpretation of it, the lesson, has changed your capacity. It validates their memory so they don't feel gaslit, but it invalidates their conclusion. It shows you are logical, analytical, and prepared. It converts their doubt into your competence. Response number 9, the ultimate detachment. The scenario here is subtle, insidious, and incredibly dangerous. This usually involves an ex-partner, a toxic family member, or a manipulative old friend who knows exactly where your buttons are installed because they are the ones who helped install them. This person is not just attacking you. They are trying to seduce you back into a cage. They are trying to drag you back into an old emotional cycle because that cycle, as painful as it was, is familiar to them. They know how to dance to that music. They are addicted to the chaos you used to live in because chaos is the only way they know how to connect with you. They will dangle the bait. It might be a sentimental memory. Remember how good we used to be. It might be a sharp accusation. You always run away when things get hard, just like you did 5 years ago. They are acting like emotional archaeologists, digging up ancient artifacts of your relationship, hoping you will stop what you are doing to come down into the dirt and inspect them. The trap is that you take the bait. You get emotional. You feel a desperate, burning need to defend your honor or correct the record. You cry, you yell, or perhaps most commonly, you type out that long, 3-paragraph text message explaining exactly why they are wrong and how much you have grown. Listen to me closely. The moment you hit send on that explanation, you have lost. You have stepped back into their cage. You have given them the fuel they need to keep the engine of conflict running. You are trying to prove you are a new person, but by engaging in the old fight, you are proving you are still the old person. Here is the Stoic response. You do not raise your voice. You do not explain. You do not justify. You simply state a fact about your own internal reality as calmly as if you were remarking on the weather. You say, I have made my peace with that chapter. I don't read it anymore. This response is short. It is visual, and it is absolutely final. Think of your life as a library. This person is running up to you, waving a dusty, torn book from the bottom shelf, a book filled with tragedy, mistakes, and immaturity. They are desperate for you to open it. They want you to reread the paragraphs where you were weak. They want to analyze the typos, the tear-stained pages, and the plot twists of a story that ended years ago. But you? You are currently sitting at your desk, holding a fresh pen, writing chapter 10. By using this response, you frame their behavior as redundant. You are telling them, why are you obsessing over a story I have already finished? You are acknowledging that the past existed. You aren't denying the book is in the library, but you are refusing to take it off the shelf. The ink in that old chapter is dry. You cannot edit it. You cannot change the ending. Rereading it will not save the hero, and it will not fix the villain. When you say, I don't read it anymore, you are declaring your sovereignty over your own attention. You are telling them that their weapon has no ammunition because you no longer live on the battlefield. You are too busy writing the future to waste a single second, rereading a history that cannot be changed. This is the ultimate detachment, looking at the person who once controlled your emotions and realizing they are just a character in a chapter you have already closed. Response number 10, the nuclear option. This is the most important one. This is for someone you actually love, a spouse, a parent, a sibling, who is hurting you with the past because they are hurting. The trap is that you fight fire with fire and you burn the relationship down. The Stoic response requires a shift in demeanor. You soften your face, you lower your voice, you step closer, not further away. You say, "I love you too much to fight with you about a ghost. That version of me is dead. I am right here. Let's not let the past rob us of this moment." This appeals to memento mori, the awareness of death. It reminds them that life is short. It frames the past self as a third-party intruder who is ruining the relationship between the two living people. It is impossible to fight against love. When you offer love in the face of hostility, you create a disarming dissonance. They have raised their shield to block a sword, but you have handed them a flower. They have no choice but to lower the shield. Listening to these responses is not enough. You must train. In the heat of the moment, you will not rise to the level of your hopes. You will fall to the level of your training. Here is the Stoic nightly protocol to immunize yourself against the weaponized past. Step 1. The premeditation of evils. Every morning, ask yourself, who might attack my past today? Visualize the specific person. Visualize them saying the specific sentence that hurts the most. Feel the sting in your imagination so you don't have to feel the shock in reality. Step 2. The script rehearsal. Pick one of the responses we covered today, just one. Stand in front of a mirror. Look yourself in the eye. Say the line out loud. Say it until your voice doesn't shake. Say it until it feels boring. When it feels boring, you have mastered it. Step 3. The evening review. If you failed today, if you got angry, if you got defensive, do not beat yourself up. That is just more dead time. Simply write in your journal, "Today I stumbled. Tomorrow I will keep the gate shut." Your past is not a life sentence. It was just a lesson plan. The ash of who you were is the fertilizer for who you are becoming. Don't let anyone, not a friend, not a parent, not an enemy, tell you who you are based on who you were. You are the master of your inner citadel. The gates are locked. The past is outside. You are safe inside. If you made it this far, you are part of the few who are truly serious about self-mastery. I want to know which response you are going to use. Is it number 1, amor fati? Is it number 4, the mirror of curiosity? Is it number 10, the nuclear love? Put the number in the comments below. Let's see which weapon is the most popular among the Stoics here. And finally, if you want to know how to stop caring what people think of you before they even speak, click this video right here. It explores the Stoic art of indifference. The past is dead. Long live the present. See you in the next one.